Hey, what's up, fellow boxing brothers? Yeah, I'm back with a boxing round of the week. Alright, so, man, finally we have a really exciting weekend. Uh, it has been, a while since we really had a strong weekend. Well, on the 1st of February, we have a pretty big card in where is it? Let's see. Is it Vegas? I think so. Yeah, T-Mobile Arena. Well, before I get to the main event, I would like to talk about first the fight between the co-main event, Brandon Figueroa versus Stephen Fulton. It's a rematch of a fight. The first fight was won by Fulton, as you know probably, but it was a close one. It is so far Figueroa's only loss. It was a majority decision. So yeah, well, this is interesting. Fulton is of course coming off his first loss to Inoue, but after that he had one fight which didn't go so smoothly. He won by a split decision there, and yeah, this is quite interesting. Well, I think. Oh, sorry, the mic. The thing is, Brandon Figueroa just has since then has seemed to really kind of grow as a fighter. Oh, by the way, also I forgot to mention Fulton was knocked down in the fight, his last fight with Carlos Castro, right? And I believe, yeah, Figueroa actually stopped Carlos Castro by before that in the sixth round in 2022. All right, so yeah, I mean he's really bounced back really well from that lone loss, and he captured the interim WBC favorite title, and now this is for the big one, the full WBC title, and so all this kind of points to the fact that also because the first fight was really close, and the Showtime scorer Steve Farhood actually had it a draw. So all this points to the possibility, that there's a great possibility that Figueroa will avenge the loss this time and win, and win. And how? Well, of course, I don't know really. I mean, Inoue is Inoue. He has been so far the only guy to have been able to penetrate Fulton's defense and stop him. If Figueroa can do the same, if he does the same, it will just be a sign that he really is something special. I mean, he so far looked like. I mean, one thing that Figueroa and Fulton have in common is that they are the only guys who have knocked out and beaten Luis Neri, and Fulton was the first guy actually to do it back then when Neri was really knocking out everybody. Figueroa knocked him out with a body shot. So easy, you might say it was. And yeah, this kid can fight, Brandon Figueroa. And he can punch, but he can also box when necessary, and he's tough as well because he has fought a few guys, that can punch. And I don't know if he ever has been down so far. And his last fight, he knocked out Jesse Magdalena, which was also very impressive. And Magdalena was only knocked out once before that in 11 rounds. So anyway, I think Fulton is possibly has been damaged, but we will see. It doesn't have to mean that he really has been, like terminally damaged by Inoue, but it is very possible because that's what he does to fighters very often. Also, Figueroa is 2 years younger, is 1 inch taller, and has got a 5 inch reach advantage. Wow, that's pretty big. Yeah, so yeah, man. I think there's a big chance that Figueroa wins, and but maybe not by a knockout. But yeah, we'll see anyway. That's what I think about that. So alright, we'll go over to the main event now, and this is one really big fight now. The fight that we all have been waiting for. But we thought that would happen at 168, but instead it has happened at 175, which is, I guess, better because both of these guys have kind of outgrown the 168 division. We're talking about, of course, David Benavidez versus David Morrell, the battle of the Davids. So this is for both the WBA and the WBC interim titles, light heavyweight, of course. And there's a huge difference in experience here. I mean, Morrell only has 11 fights, but he really started off really, I mean, pretty soon by fighting, like top level fighters, or yeah, anyway, better fighters. While Benavidez had the usual kind of a little slower kind of climb to the top, but he definitely has reached the top. I mean, he won the WBC interim title against Vozdik, and yeah, Morrell, he beat Radivoje Kalajic in a non-title fight, which was his first at 175. Many have criticized him there, but because he didn't, he lost a few rounds. I think he lost like 4 rounds or something. But I don't think that's fair, because not only was it his first fight at this new weight. I mean, Mr. Hot Rod Kalajic himself is a good fighter, really. I mean, I think many have slept on him just because he got destroyed by Beterbiev, and that's not really fair. I mean, who hasn't, only Bivol so far of the guys who fought Beterbiev hasn't been destroyed. And yeah, so Benavidez is a little taller at 6'2", and Morrell is 6'1", and Benavidez. Morrell actually seems to have the bigger reach of the two at 78 and a half, while Benavidez only has 74 and a half inch reach, so almost identical to his height. And but that doesn't matter, because he's not a guy who fights from a distance. Easy. No. So these are really two very different fighters, apart from the fact that they both are, offensive, and yeah, have quite a lot of knockouts on their record. And the difference is that Benavidez is more of course, volume puncher who breaks you down and stops you kind of later on. And Morrell, at 168 has quite a few earlier anyway stoppages, and yeah, he knocked out Yamaguchi Falcao in 1 round, and Sena Agbeko in 2, and yeah, so he definitely has the power. I mean, I think he has a power advantage over Benavidez, who just is a guy who never stops coming, never stops throwing punches, and yeah, that's his style, and that's why it's very hard for anybody to, you know, to fight him and beat him. So far, nobody has managed to beat him. He's 29-0, 24 knockouts. And, only, I mean, I see of his higher profile fights. The only guy he managed to stop early was David Lemieux, and that was because Lemieux was likely already washed up, and put it that way. And yeah, he never was a super middleweight really. He spent most of his career at middleweight, so yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, he stopped Andrade in 6 rounds, corner retirement, and since then he also his only light heavyweight fight was against Wozik, won on points. So neither have a KO at 175 yet. Of course, if any of them scores a knockout here, it will be huge. It will really boost their rating and all that, their whole image as a fighter. I mean, of course, it can easily happen knowing how aggressive Benavidez is, and also Morrell. He likes to mix it up, of course. David Morrell, but he's a Cuban style fighter. He also boxes and moves around and looks for the openings and has good defense. While Benavidez is mostly about just over outworking his opponents and overpowering, out punching them. So yeah, that is his style. And both of these guys have been, you might say, especially Benavidez, avoided by Canelo. So now we get the second best thing is that they fight each other. That's a great thing. A great thing also. So what do I think? Who will win? I hate doing this when it's like this. I mean, I think most people lean towards Benavidez. I don't know really. I don't know. I mean, everything has really gone well for Benavidez so far, and so I think it's bound to happen sometimes. I mean, it's bound to go wrong soon. I think sooner or later. And Morrell, he has shown that in the Kalajic fight, he has shown that he has the ability to kind of be patient. You lose a few rounds and come back strong later on. And that's very important when you are dealing with a fighter like Benavidez. You cannot count on winning all the rounds or dominating like the fight totally against him. So you gotta be kind of patient and lay back and concentrate on the defense for a while at least, and then try to launch a counter attack and get him out of there maybe potentially. So the thing is, Morrell, I would say he has the power to do it. Another thing with Kalajic, once more, going back to that fight, has always been a big light heavyweight. He has had fights above, like at cruiserweight. I know that. So he's also a little taller. Not that means a lot. He's a little taller than Benavidez, but he's also a little bigger physically altogether. So that's why I think Morrell's power didn't work on him. Wasn't able to really, hurt him or get him out of there. I mean, like really hurt him. He did kind of hurt him maybe once or twice, but he wasn't really in trouble. So, because he's really kind of a light, heavy cruiser kind of guy between those two divisions, Kalajic. So, but Benavidez is not. He's a former super middleweight. He's tall, yeah, but he's not, like really huge in when it comes to build, and so Morrell is kind of, I guess maybe even a little bigger in that respect, maybe I would say, than Benavidez. So, but we'll see anyway. It will be interesting, very, very. I expect a war, total war, and if Morrell chooses to just forsake his, defensiveness and just go all out with Benavidez, then it's gonna be hard to win, of course. But if he fights it smart, which I think he will, he can win definitely. So I will leave it at that. I will leave it at that. I'm not gonna say who's gonna win, but I just told you what's gonna happen. If Benavidez manages also to make it a dog fight, he wins probably. If not, if Morrell can't box him effectively and all that, and counter him, find some effective counter punches, he can win. So that's all. There you have it. That was all for this time. All right. Enjoy the fights, and I'll see you soon. Peace.